it's okay to let go. You're not alone. Stand your ground, take it slow. The way you've been shown, trust yourself, you to get through. Now you're on the other side, living life again. It was a wild ride out of the rain into the sun. Look, you've won.
Hi, hi. Hi, hi. All right, so I'm fixing the screen. Now I have to figure out. Thank you guys for being here. Oh, I can hide that now. Great. Hi, hi, hi. Let me put my glasses on so I can read the chat. Welcome all. Can you hear me? Hello, hello, hello. Good evening. Thank you all for being here. Ben, Tiff, Barb. Oop, I'm bouncing. Sorry, guys. I was trying to type, so I may not be able to do that. So I'm just going to announce you guys and just say hey. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in. And before we get started, I'm just going to make sure we give people a chance to find me. Hey, Amanda. Thank you for being here. This is very exciting. And it's a big day for me, or evening. And I look forward to sharing so much of my story with you guys. So as you're all coming in case you're new to the channel, I'm Teresa. This is my channel, Wounds to Wisdom. And this channel was born out of my desire to grow, to heal, as well as connect and build a community. Not just of like-minded people, but people that challenge me. And I've been very fortunate to meet so many of you in other channels. And I'm so impressed with you guys. So many blessings that you've given to me. So I'm really looking forward to sharing my story because it really is about the person I have become. I think that, obviously I've always been me. But somebody recently said, well, tell me, who are you? And I thought, oh, girl, who the hell knows who I am? But at my core, I'm somebody who really does care about people, sometimes to my detriment. And that's one of the things that, as a community, we can help each other navigate, not to hamper our love, our commitment, our friendship, but to understand the boundaries that we need to set. So let's dive in. And I did write a few notes because we are going to be talking about life and death. So please be kind to yourself. If something might, trigger you or make you uncomfortable, please take care of yourself. I am not a medical professional of any sort. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a doctor, although I'm sure I know quite a bit more than some physicians. Ha ha. But so let's dive in. So today, 6 years ago, January 28th, 2019, it actually started on the 27th of January, which was a Sunday. And I happened to have, well, let me step back before I get to the event that happened, because I think it's important for you guys to understand why I was so emotionally charged. Now, I could go back way, way back, but I'm not, because that's not really going to help us. And I think I've already shared with several of you that in 2013, my mom was diagnosed with lung cancer. So, what's a little ironic and funny, not really, but I was in 2013, in February, I decided I was going to go back to therapy. I had taken a break, and my mom had been living with me since my first heart attack in 2006. And because of my job, I was traveling every single week to Chattanooga, Tennessee. I would go on a Monday and I'd come home on a Friday. And I did that for 18 months. One of the things that I wanted to accomplish for myself going back to therapy was I was going to be turning 50 in May. And so I really didn't want my life to be coulda, shoulda, woulda, didn't. I really wanted to figure out why I wasn't taking good enough care of myself and why I wasn't living my best life. This is not because of my mom. This is solely on me, okay? But so as I'm having this conversation with my therapist, I was like, look, I really want to make this, the beginning, the new me, and I want to hear my voice and heal some stuff and just get the hell over it and move on. So that was hampered clearly when a week later I found out my mom had lung cancer. I became, and I don't know how many of you have seen Terms of Endearment, but I became Shirley MacLaine, a nicer version, but I was going to make sure that my mom was taken care of. And I was there for every possible doctor's appointment. Now, in the beginning, it really was determined that she needed to have surgery. Now, my mom never smoked a day in her life, but like me, we've been surrounded by secondhand smoke our whole life. And so there was a little bit of anger that why is this woman who's never smoked a day in her life? Oh, Misha, hi, sweetheart. Why is she going through this? She had surgery on my 50th birthday. So my brother was with me. And I just want to also preface this. There are some key people in my story. I'm not going to name them for a couple of reasons. One, it's their privacy and it's their story to tell from their perspective. This is all going to be about my perspective. I may share what they have shared with me about my situation, but for now, we're going to leave names out of it. Now, my brother is my brother. I have two of them. And so one of my brothers was with me. And it was the most difficult thing that we'd ever been through. But we fought through it. She went 13, 14, 15. They said they thought she was clear. And then my mom, it metastasized to her brain. We lost her in October 2016. Prior to that, in 2015, I had been laid off from that job that I was commuting to. And it took me 6 months about to find a job. The day I found out I got a new job was the day we found out her brain cancer, her cancer metastasized to her brain. I can't tell you the fear that went through my body. So I took this job. When I lost my mom, my job also was kind of cruel. For a healthcare company, they put me on a performance evaluation because I had only been traveling and a little bit for the company, and I had only been working about 45 to 50 hours a week. And that wasn't sufficient, and that's fine. That's their judgment. But they did that the week after my mom's funeral, or the week after my mom's death. We hadn't had her memorial yet. Long story short, I was already feeling vulnerable. And as soon as the new year came, they fired me. So now I lost my mom and I lost my job. I lost my purpose. I lost my existence. I have been a type A person. I have taken care of pretty much everybody in my life, even if it was only my opinion that I was taking care of people. And depression set in. And during that time, actually during my mom's cancer, I had been introduced to Reiki through a girlfriend of mine who was doing massage therapy, and she had tried it on me, and I really enjoyed it. So after my mom died, I thought, I'm taking a sabbatical. What I wasn't prepared for was the depth of depression. I wasn't prepared for the constriction in my throat and my breathing. There was no deep breathing. And throughout this all, I was going to therapy. So I thought, all right, I've got some tools in place. I had a couple of really close friends, people in my life that constantly were checking up on me. And as I decided to try this Reiki energy healing practice, I really started to rejuvenate my spirit. It was slow, but I thought, okay, this resonates with me. My first teacher, left a lot to be desired, and he really hurt my spirit. He hurt my soul. He hurt me. And he made me doubt myself. But I ended up doubting myself based on the words that he used when he was speaking to me. I couldn't find my dopamine. Do you know what I mean? Like, it didn't matter what I did. I had no joy. I could not motivate myself. I could not raise my heart. I could not raise my spirit. There were no endorphins. The chemistry in my brain was gone. And at this time, oh God, Carrie Fisher died. The actress Carrie Fisher, Princess Leia. And within a couple of days, her mother died. They say of a broken heart. And I got on my knees and I begged God to do the same for me. I was done. I had no more life to live. I had nothing left to give. I was heartbroken. I was wounded. I was rejected. I felt unworthy. I felt unloved. Didn't say this is true. This is how I felt. And I couldn't shake myself out of it. As we're approaching 2019, so the end of 2018, I was encouraged by some friends to go into there's a local theater company, and I had been performing there on and off for years. And so I was doing a production of Shrek. Come on, Shrek. How could it not be more entertaining and silly and goofy? I ended up really feeling sick. I didn't feel well. I couldn't shake it. I lost my voice. It ended up not being a joyful time. And so I decided that it was going to be a new year, and I went to a meditation. Physically went there, and they were doing crystals. And it was really a good couple of hours. And I so enjoyed myself that day. It was one of the first days that I felt there's hope. So that evening, and I know I'm dragging this out a little bit, I'm just want people to get a sense of the drama of it. I was playing computer game. I was watching TV. This stray cat that I adopted, this little feral Spike, was somewhere around. No, I'm sorry. It wasn't Spike. It was Sweet Pea. Sweet Pea, I had let to go outside before we were going to go upstairs to bed. At 11 o'clock, pow, a knife went from my neck down to my chest in a square, unlike anything I'd experienced before. And this, I'd had a heart attack already. So I knew what to expect from a heart attack, and I'm incredulous. I can't be having a heart attack. I'm like, I'm just going to rest and go to bed. Nuh-uh. I was like, this does not feel right. So I called 911. So my main goal was to get my cat in the house. Got the cat in the house, was on the phone with 911. They kept me on. The poor guy, operator, the emergency operator, heard me getting sick. The police officer came in. He found me on my dining room floor. I just couldn't move. It was like someone was stabbing me repeatedly. And my poor kitty cat was circling me. And then the cop came in, and she's looking at him like, I don't know who you think you are, but hit the road. And then the ambulance came, and it took them a while, and they didn't believe I was having a heart attack. Well, the first time I had a heart attack, they didn't believe me either. And it wasn't until they got my blood work. I don't have high cholesterol. I don't have high blood pressure. I don't have the symptoms and the medical definition of somebody who would be having a heart attack. And eventually they got me in the ambulance. They got me situated. I always pray. So I may not be practicing a religion, and I was not at that time. I have a very strong faith. And I did my normal prayer, and I could feel tears starting to come in my eyes. And I had said to the guy who I kind of knew from the community, I said, look, if I die, you need to make sure my dad knows I love him, because he and I were having some issues at the time. He's like, you're not going to die. And I'm like, okay. We get to the hospital. Now, here's the exciting part. So you have to know a little bit about me. I don't like to be naked in front of anybody. I don't like to be naked in front of myself. And people are taking my shoes off. They're taking my pants off. They're taking my shirt off. And I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on? I'm naked. And at one point, while they were asking me all these questions, I said, can you call my family? And they couldn't reach my family. My healthcare proxy was not answering his phone. And so they called one of my dearest friends. And I heard the nurse say, we're calling for Teresa. And I thought, oh, they reached my friend. And while I'm there and answering questions from the doctor, I sort of turned my head to the right. And I look at this very handsome doctor. And I said, think I'm going to pass out. All I heard was, have you ever been underwater and you hear people calling your name? Teresa, 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 Teresa. And I'm like, I don't know why these people are calling my name. I just want to rest my eyes for a few minutes. And so this is where I wasn't really there. So here are the stories from a nurse and then eventually my cardiologist. And then during all of this excitement, I didn't know it, but my friend got in her car. Now she's not right around the corner. It's like 80 miles. And so 90 minutes. Now maybe because she's a better driver than I am, she may have made it faster. I wasn't there with her in the car. But during that time, I didn't know someone was coming to be there for me. I really thought I was just going to be there by myself. I thought, I'll come out. But I kept hearing conversations. Now, I'm not alive, by the way. They're trying to resuscitate me. I only know after the fact that my chest hurt, that apparently they had been pounding on it for 14 minutes. I got intubated, and it wasn't looking good for me. When my friend arrived at the hospital, so I'm going to take a break from what I know. She was given sort of the 411. It didn't look good for me. They didn't think I was going to make it through the night. And then there was a conversation that they need to consider putting me into a coma on ice, basically, to give my body a chance to heal itself. So what do I have? What was this whole heart event? What I had was SCAD, spontaneous coronary artery dissection. So basically, it's this, and I wrote it down so that I wouldn't lose all my notes. And darn it, I've missed something. Where did I put that piece of paper? Hold on. Here it is. I just want to say it correctly because you all are going to be part of this journey with me. And yes, I did misplace it. Oh, fiddlesticks. Basically, it's a paper cut in the artery, okay? And there are two main arteries, coronary arteries, around your heart. And so the paper cut in the artery pulled the blood behind the heart. So no blood was getting into the heart. And then I had what's called Takotsubo cardiomyopathy, or also known as broken heart syndrome. So with the broken heart syndrome, my heart collapsed like a pancake. And we all operate, all of us, on an ejection fraction, that most of us beat at about 55 to 60 with our blood flow coming in and out of the heart. So it's never 100% because blood's going into the heart and pumping, and then it's coming out and moving around through your body. And, it's taking a little vacation throughout your whole body. I was, I believe, at 10%. So not good. SCAD is also known as the widowmaker because often it is misdiagnosed and it's not caught in time. And there's really no treatment to repair this cut. So That's why they want you put you on ice to give your body a chance to slowly recover. And because I was down for 14 minutes, they weren't sure what was going on with my mental acuity. Was I going to be all there or not? And there's probably a debate on whether I was all there or not beforehand. But I say that in jest. I had no fear. So I think what happens, and clearly I don't have experience dying more than once, but what happened was this calm cocoon, this safety net that happens. And I felt safe. I was in the dark and I was a little annoyed at first that, nobody would listen to me. I kind of felt like I was talking. And I really didn't understand what the brouhaha was all about. And I was a little annoyed that people kept trying to interrupt me sleeping. Clearly, more time went by than I was aware. And when you are intubated, my understanding is you should not know, because they give you enough drugs to keep you calm so that you don't freak out when you wake up and there's this thing in your mouth. I'm not normal. And so I started to come out at some point. There was an awareness that there was my friend in the room. My brother was there, one of my brothers. So I'm the eldest, and then there's two boys behind me. And apparently my dad. I could feel somebody on my left-hand side trying to hold my hand. And when I tell you I tried like hell to squeeze that hand, now again, I'm not really even supposed to be awake. I'm heavily sedated. And I hear my friend talking. I hear the doctor talking. I hear them discussing what should be, thank you, Brazy, what should be happening for me. And there was light and there was darkness. I probably was going in and out. At some point, I'm like, I have to wiggle my toes. If I could just wiggle my toes, they'll know I'm alive. Because for some reason, they don't think I'm here or I can't hear them. And I would have to ask my friend, because she was there. And I'm going to sort of jump into what her explanation to me was about what she witnessed. But I remember feeling really cold. Now, we've been friends for a really long time. A really long time. So she knows me really well. And my eyes can't open. I could not open my eyes, but I was able to communicate that I was freezing. And they put blankets on my feet, especially my feet. I need to talk to you people that are in the medical field. Cover people's feet. They're cold. And then I was aware of her telling me what time it was, that people were in the room with us. And then I swear it was my brother. And I was holding his hand and I tried to squeeze his hand. I wanted him to know that I was there, that I was happy he was there. And I almost felt like I needed to comfort him because apparently something was going on and they were very upset. I did not know there was a tube down my throat. So it was still very eerie. A long story short, my cardiologist at the time, he went home and they called him Dr. Handsome. Dr. Handsome, I don't know, 6'2", very good looking doctor had come in and was talking amongst the people in the room. And kind of to me, they're like, "Would you like the tube out?" And I'm like, I'm saying, F, yeah, take this thing out of my throat. Because once I had an awareness, the tears came because I didn't understand. And as much as the nurse tried to calm me, she's like, "You're okay. You had a heart attack. We're here. You're not alone." I could almost get I'm getting a little verklempt. It was scary. That was scary. Being in the darkness, being otherworldly, being bathed in warmth and feeling safe, safer than I had in a long time. And then this with this honking thing down my throat. Now, I didn't get to visually see any of this. And I have to say that the people in my life didn't take photos of the event. God bless them. But they decided to take the tube out of my mouth. And mind you, they're still trying to reach my healthcare proxy, my other brother. They couldn't reach him. Funny story. He'd been working all day. He was tired. He decided randomly to turn off his phone and he had a very nice nap. So while everybody else is wondering if I'm going to live or die, he got to sleep through the whole damn thing. So SCAD, right? We'll come back in a minute. SCAD is brought on. Well, first of all, it hits women mainly in two categories. Women that might be pregnant. It's because of the stress on the body. And those of us 45 plus, mostly postmenopausal, but that's there's not a lot of stats on it. And I even today was going to try to figure out what are the statistics, but there is a low percentage of people surviving SCAD when not in a hospital. So if you're at home at an event and they can't figure out what the hell's going wrong with you, because you're not having a heart attack, they send you home often. And then you go home and you die because the blood pooled behind your heart and there's not enough time to get you to a hospital. So it's brought on mainly by stress. And I was stressed. I was in grief. I was incapacitated by grief. It wasn't just, it was a sorrow that was suffocating me. Physically, I had no energy and I was really just wounded. I was wounded. And I strained my heart. I also had been praying to die. I was lonely and I was alone and I felt abandoned by almost everybody in my life. We'll talk about grief more, but there's a difference when you lose someone, their 90s, they're elders, they've lived their life. It is time for them to pass. You don't want them to go, but Grandma Desi dies and you're sad. My mother was my heartbeat. She was my best friend. She was the person who loved me unconditionally. She didn't always agree with me. It's not about that. She loved me. There was no, I'll love you if you do this, if you're skinny, if you got a good job, if you have this, if you have that, no. She loved me. I didn't have that. Who was going to love me? There was nobody to love me. Not like that. And that grief, and I was telling somebody this today, that it wasn't just the grief of my mother, it was the grief of me. I lost me. I had no more purpose. I had nothing to live for, essentially. So I really put my body through the ringer. And when you stress your body to that point and you're inconsolable, your body's like, hey, what the hell? I got to shut down. Time out. I got to go. That's spontaneous coronary artery dissection. It's a tear. Now, the Takotsubo, which was so aptly named by Japan, of course, hence the name, that is also generated by sadness, depression, and grief. It's called broken heart syndrome for a reason. So the heart becomes a pancake and the blood squishes out and your body needs time to recuperate. Now, as you come back into the world, you can't put yourself in those kind of stressful situations again. And for the first month or so, I'd been in and out of the hospital after the heart attack. I was there, gosh, I want to say 5 days. It might have been 7 days, but definitely 5 days. I got home, well cared for. Family was with me. Friends were with me. People took turns sort of babysitting Teresa. And I, one evening with my father, my younger brother, the healthcare proxy, and my stepmother, we were in the dining room. We were playing a game. And I was like, I need to take a break. And I made it to the living room floor and thought, oh, crap. Now, because I've been doing Reiki and meditation, when I go into panic mode, I do have this uncanny ability to go, oh, okay, and go into this quiet place and I slow everything down. Well, everybody thought I was freaking dead. Being in the hospital, I can't tell you how many times nurses came running into my hospital room, waking me up to make sure I was alive, because I have this ability to quiet the body with breath. Obviously, I'm here. And one of the after effects of this event, it was like someone did electric shock therapy to my brain, right? So I didn't feel sadness. As a matter of fact, my younger brother, who's my healthcare proxy, when he came to the hospital to see me after my initial event, I'm sitting in bed eating a piece of toast, smiling. Hey, how you doing? Come on in. He's like, what the hell are you people all worked up over? He's got crying relatives. People are planning a funeral. You know what I mean? I'm exaggerating, but he missed all the fun. But I was incredibly physically light. I felt light. I felt like I exuded light. I felt appreciative isn't the word, and I'm struggling with a good adjective, but I was like, damn, I'm blessed. And look, the sun is shining again. Now, and I know I've talked about this in a couple of other videos, but I really have been a Pollyanna. I always could see the sunny side of the street. I could always see the sun. I could always, even when it was raining, it was like, oh, it's raining. The grass is going to be green and the flowers are going to bloom and the rivers are going to get full. And, you know, it's a blizzard. Look how beautiful and quiet and carpeted everything is. And for those couple of years, 2016 to 2019, That sun could have been shining and I never saw the sun. I couldn't see the joy. So it was so amazing to experience this. Wish I didn't have to go through all of that, but I was born again. Yes, Amanda, I was born again. Brazy and Jimena and Mish, and anybody else listening, if any of this is disturbing, I'm sorry. I really just wanted to paint the picture because I really did come back reborn, revitalized. And I'm like, well, if I'm here, there's a purpose. I don't know what the hell the purpose is, but there's a purpose. And what is it that I can do? Now, the recovery was not for the faint of heart. Just getting to my bathroom was like, okay, I'm just going to sit here for a while. I may tinkle, I may not. It was exhausting to get here. And thankfully, it was just, I think I can. Thank you, Barbie. And so I lived in a big house. I'm going to take a time out and just talk about it so that we all don't think that I was made of money. But I had been living in Boston for 30 years, I think. And the rent prices were going to go up in my apartment. I lived in a studio, and then it was in a house, and then I moved to the attic apartment that had a bedroom. And my landlady, lovely people, said, look, we really would like you to buy it because, they wanted to change how things were. And I had a really good deal. And it's like, I don't have $600,000 to buy this apartment. I didn't have $500,000 to buy the apartment. So I had started the journey to look outside of the city, and I had to move 80 miles out of the city to find a house. And I found an existing bed and breakfast, Victorian, with 9 bedrooms, 8.5 baths. That would be my retirement plan. And from 2004, even while my mom was sick, if you could be in love with a house, I was in love with my house. Gardens were beautiful. I did most everything myself. I did a lot of repairs, but then, I used to joke with my mother and my brother. I'd say, yep, the house knows it's tax refund time. Something broke. And, it was like, I can't get ahead. But I loved that house. And I loved the idea of creating a sanctuary for women specifically. No offense to you men. Ben, I'm not excluding you. But my experience with women was that we had no place to go to heal. And I was into yoga, and I was into meditation, and I was into this, not quite yet Reiki at that time, but I knew instinctually that I wanted a place for women to come and heal. And because my mother was a painter, and because I was creative, I had this carriage house that was ginormous that I thought, well, we could have a salt room over here. We could do catering and weddings and all this fabulous stuff. And then, with the heart attack, I couldn't do it anymore. But during the healing process, I'm a stubborn Italian girl. And maybe Italian has nothing to do with it, but I'm going to go with it. I really thought I could make it work. And as the realization over time came that I couldn't, there was another grieving process. No, I didn't have another heart attack, everybody. But there was a sorrow. I didn't want to leave. I loved that house. I loved the dream of that house. But I was incapable of making it happen at that time. And so began the process of ending yet another chapter of my life and another dream. And here's the thing, I didn't have plan C. I had a plan A, had a very high powered job, lost it. Plan B, going to do Reiki and open up my own little something something and create this event, heart attack. No plan C. While my mom was ill, I want to just be mindful of the time. While my mom was ill, she always struggled swallowing pills, but she really needed to take some of these pills. And someone had introduced me to a hypnotist. And this hypnotist came to the house and she just catered to my mama. And my mom was able to swallow pills for the most part. And I got to experience it as well when she was working on my mom. I was on the couch. I rarely left my mother's side. And because she was struggling with her words, I used to be her voice, because she'd look at me like this panic, right? This I know there's a word and I want to say it, but I don't know. And I would say, she's having a hard time swallowing her pills. Yes, I'm having a hard time swallowing my pills. So I could read her mind, right? You know, we were simpatico. Well, I struggled after my heart attack. I stuttered. I had a hard time grasping concepts. So I had to go through bankruptcy. And I did not understand the lawyer. And in all fairness, he was an idiot. He knew the law, but he could not communicate well. Thank God for my brother, who said, yeah, he's not a bad guy. Yeah, he's a little goofy. I'm like, he's not goofy. I don't like him. But they got me through the process. And I struggle sometimes, even now, all these years later, 6 years later, happy birthday to me, with it takes me time. So in the past, I would have been able to figure out this Restream thing, and I'd have, you know, I again was watching Echo today, doing Living My Best Life After 60. She has this thing that scrolls around the bottom of the screen. I'd love to be able to say that and, you know, do that. I haven't figured that out. I will, but those are things that take me longer to get through. Reading, I was a voracious reader. When I commuted, there were 2 books a week and there could have been 400 pages. That was nothing for me. Now, even small books, I read it, I have to put it down. I go back and I read it again. It takes me a little longer. I really didn't have any other major side effects except for energy and stress level. So, you know, it's a weird thing to evolve into this light worker, this energy practitioner, this hypnotist, because I went and followed in the footsteps of the woman who came to the house to take care of my mom. And for 6 months, I didn't get paid. I just worked with her and took phone calls because I wanted to be busy. And when you're on disability, if you work and get paid, you could lose your disability. I'm sure most of you know this. And eventually I did get a job and I did surrender my disability. And then that job ended and I was back on disability because it really was too much. It's my personality is too much. I'm a little over the top. And I get stressed easily. One of the side effects is occasional chest pain, and it feels like a tear, right? With the help of my therapist, with the help of some friends, energy practitioners, and other healers that I've worked with, I have to breathe. Breathe. I have to be able to expand my lungs and contract because I become constricted in the throat and I lose my voice. I had surrendered my voice for a good portion of my life. I've been the good girl. I did what was expected of me. For the most part, I was obedient as a young girl, as a teenager. I'm a people pleaser. So even if I didn't want to, I did. And my life experiences with the opposite sex has not been positive. So I cocooned myself over the years. And I also had a lot of health problems. So that's a different discussion for a different day. It may not even be necessary. But my inability to have children was something that I had to convince myself I didn't want anyway. And it's true, I really never saw myself as having children. But when you have to be forced as a woman to have a complete hysterectomy and everything comes out of your body and you're in menopause way too early, you feel even less valuable, purposeless. I don't have kids. I have no one to take care of me. I have nobody to cheerlead me. I have nobody to love me. That's dramatic, but it's not really. You can say that you have friends. Friends have families. They have children or they have other family members they have to take care of. You have a nice community of people. You have extended family yourself, but it's not the same. This is a journey that I came into this world alone, and I am going to end up leaving it alone. What I came to realize is I don't necessarily need the in-between to be alone. And I think, Misha, it's you, I think, that shared a poem with me. Damn it, I wish I could remember it. But it's you're born on this date and there's a dash and here's your end date. What the hell are you going to do with your dash? Right? That time in between. I want to live. I want to live. I want to give. I want to enjoy. I want to be part of something bigger than myself. And I know that I have so much to give. And in this world that we are experiencing, especially lately, with benefits and things being taken away from us and opportunities maybe shrinking and hostility in the world, I want to be the light. Now, I will say this. My car died this week on last Friday, and there wasn't a lot of light going on here. There was a little bit of a pity party because one of the things that I experienced as a result of my heart attack was no income. I've been making money since I was freaking 12 years old. I was a rent-a-kid cleaning people's houses. And then I worked in my dad's Italian deli for years. And then I went to college and I worked in my favorite Jewish bakery, Couples Bakery, the best freaking bagels you ever had. And the rugelach, chocolate chip cream cheese rugelach. Oh. And I've never not worked, ever. So these last few years not working, I don't do, I was going to say I don't do retirement. Well, that's a lie. I do. I don't mind being home. I am a homebody. What I struggle with is not having the funds to do the things that I'd like to do. That's okay. Things will work out. But part of why I wanted to share my story is that when we feel hopeless, we feel broken, and we feel down, and we feel out, we've been kicked down and we've hit the curb and we get back up and someone stumbles us again. It's really us. It's the individual. Life happens, but it's how we respond. I was weak and vulnerable and couldn't respond well enough when my mom died. It wasn't just my mom's death. I'd been slowly dying from my own lack of self-worth. Thank you, Mish. She's posting, guys, this poem that I just really, it's beautiful. So if you guys want to click on it and then read it after, I would. So thank you, guys. I really am so happy that all of you are here. So anyway, the purpose of this channel and what I want to bring and what I want to share is light. And it's not easy to turn the light on. And it's going to take a community of us. I seriously, in my own life, I have set boundaries. And I was watching Jimena earlier this week, and I guess today's only Tuesday, so it had to have been yesterday, Jimena, right? She was talking about, yes, setting boundaries, but it was also, we have to be responsible for our own light. It's not always easy. So we do have to tap into each other to raise each other's vibration. And we can do that. And that's what I want to do. And so this coming month in February, as we roll into the second law of the universe, and we'll talk about that, I'm going to focus on heart health and health, but heart health, because women, we are the number one heart attack victims. And most of us have had a lot of trauma in this community, and we need to be aware of what to look for. I also need to lose some weight in order to be heart healthy. Thank you. And so I'm going to be starting better eating. This coming Thursday, on my Thursday evening, 8 p.m., I'm going to do a meditation, a guided meditation. So you all are going to come in. You probably won't be in the chat at all. Be comfortable. Be in your PJs if you want to be in your PJs. Central time, what's that, 7 o'clock? California time, that's, if I'm going on 8, is that 5 o'clock? Whatever. So be prepared, because it's going to be a meditation towards healing. And it's to stop the traffic in your mind so that you can do the healing. We heal ourselves, and we have the power to heal ourselves, guys. I'm also going to be sharing, and I'll tap into where some of you guys are located, but there is a new healing centers that you sit in this room, and it is filled with computer screens. It's called the EE system, and I'll talk about it, so let's not go crazy tonight. And what you will do is, it's an affordable way of healthcare, and we'll talk about it. The nearest one to me is like 2 hours away, so it's not very close to me. But I think it's going to be the wave of the future for those of us that don't always have access to affordable healthcare. And I want to talk about it and just present you with information. And then on Friday, I'm going to be on Jimena's channel. Again, we're just talking about light, connection, camaraderie. And in February, I want to talk about a journaling idea with you guys. It's something that I did through my poetry writing years ago. And I find that when I get stuck writing a sentence, using just a few adjectives in 2 columns, happy adjectives, not so happy adjectives, and then you write a sentence. So it's going to be really exciting. I think you guys, some of you are very creative. I really look forward to doing that. But I wanted to share my story. I hope that it just gives you a little bit of hope, because we can be kicked down and we can be knocked down. But as Chumbawamba said in the 90s, I get back up. So, we get knocked down, we get back up again. We're never going to be stuck down in the ground. We might need to stay there sometimes, and sometimes we have to hunker down and just say, okay, I need a little love and I need to be a little gloomy, but I'm going to get my ass up and I'm going to dust it off, and I'm going to put on a pair of new shoes, and I'm going to go put on a nice shirt, and I'm going to gussy up my hair and put on some makeup and put on a new tie, right, Ben? And just go out into the world and put on a smile. As Body Illusion says, you're beautiful, right? And we are all beautiful, and we all have beautiful spirits. And I really just want to be able to build this community with you guys. So I also want some feedback on the time. So if you don't mind, after this in the comment, just tell me if the time works for you. I'm trying to navigate when's the best time to go live. Also, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. And if you haven't liked the video, please do so. And if you think someone could benefit from all this, please share. And I want to thank you for being here this evening. It means a lot to me. So yes, I just want to see. I don't know if I missed anybody when you all came through. So I said hi to Jimena and Brazy. Of course, hold on. I got Tiff in there, Ben, and I think some of you guys have probably bopped in and out because there's a couple of other lives going on. And Mish and Amanda, thank you so much for being here. Seriously, it means the world to me. And Barbie, and anyone who didn't speak up, that's quite fine. I'm okay with that, because I'd rather you just be here and share your light behind the scenes. So I don't think I forgot anybody. I am just scrolling. I should put these back on, right? So I could see better. And I promise, as I get better at this, I'll be able to type and talk, put in people's channels and talk. I have yet to do moderators. I didn't think it was necessary yet, but I'll consider that as we move forward. And thank you, Barbie. I really, I just want to send you guys away tonight with many blessings of light, of love, of healing, of joy, sprinkled with a little bit of laughter, and gratitude. So DJ Nick had written a song, and I hadn't been able to figure out how to get it from Suno to here. So another time I'll share it, but please know that I send you all away with love. Thank you so much for being here. Go have some hot cocoa and get in your PJs, and may you all be blessed.